The whole industry is now moving towards this, where you have an agent that you can call from Slack instead of having a separate app for it. So this is an agent that I built for myself, and it helps me to validate ideas for my future videos. So basically the whole idea is that I put in some like half-finished thought, and it goes and researches this idea for me and validates it for me in some sense. And then it's dropping this whole idea, if I want to, into my Notion document, into my Notion database for my like video production. And also when I first saw people building these, my reaction was kind of no. So let me explain why I changed my mind and why the whole industry is moving towards this direction. And then I'm going to show you how you can actually build one with Mastra. So here's what's happening. For the longest time, if you need to build some kind of AI thing, most likely you're going to build some kind of web application or a mobile application, dashboards or something like this. So like a destination or a place for people to go to. But now everyone's kind of moving the other way, where instead of building an application where people come to, you are putting your agent inside of the tools that they're already working in all day. And I kept seeing this with my own clients actually, where every other conversation lately is about building some kind of Slack agent, where our clients would appreciate this, our clients would benefit from this, and a lot of related like Slack bots, Teams bots, and different kinds of integration with those tools. And here's an idea that I want you to hold on to throughout this video, is that the agent and the interface are completely two different things. So the bot that you saw in Slack in the demo, it's not like a Slack app, it's just an agent. And Slack is just one of the communication channels to reach to our agent. The other channel, the other client could be a website, it could be some kind of API call from somewhere, etc. So channel is just a doorway, you can say. Okay, why is this actually a big deal? And the biggest reason for that is honestly context switching. So here's the loop for a lot of people right now. You're having a conversation in Slack where you have your real work, your real context about your work. You hit the point where you need AI, so what do? You copy the conversation from Slack, you open the chat of your choice, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, doesn't matter. You paste it in, then you gotta add all the context that it's missing, what the project is, what are guidelines, what is the deadline, and what you're even trying to do. Then you get an answer, then you need to gather information from different tools. You open Linear, you open Salesforce, you gather all this information, copy, screenshots, everything, and then you just send it to ChatGPT. You get an answer, you copy that, you go into another tool, Notion, Linear, whatever, and you paste it in to actually create the thing. And that's just one task. You did that whole dance just for one thing. And every hop in that chain, you're not only losing time, but you're also losing the context of the task, because you're just going around the tools and just copying, pasting things. The chat interface of your choice doesn't know all the guidelines of your company, doesn't know the guidelines of the project that you're working on, and things like that. So you're manually like sitting and refeeding the same context every time on every task that you're trying to do. And if you look at the agent in Slack, it can go and gather information from different channels. It can go call tools to gather information from different sources like Notion, I don't know, again, Salesforce, for example. Then it can gather all this information and give you a report, and then you approve it, and then it just creates a page like in Notion, let's say, or in Linear. And for this custom agent, you can specify your own guidelines for the project that you are working on, about the business that you are in, so you have full control over this agent. Now, here's where I have to be honest with you, because there is a part of it that I actually struggled with. So I am an application guy. I love building applications, and I spend a lot of time, and we as a team spend a lot of time building those applications and perfecting UX, working a lot on the flows, thinking about the flows, obsessing over how things look, how they feel, and about all the small details of the product. And the industry basically just going, nah, throw this all away. We're going to create one Slack bot and the users can just type at, and that's all. And the part of me was like, are we going backwards? Because we spend a lot of time learning and perfecting UX, and now we are just got back to just one text box in Slack. So that felt wrong to me. But then it clicked for me, and it comes back to the same thing as we were talking about previously, which is context switching and honestly just reachability. And here's what I mean is that if you're on Slack all day, every day, as most of us are, the friction of you talking to something that is already in Slack is basically non-existent. It's just zero. So what's actually the best interface? Because for a lot of jobs, it's not a beautiful standalone application at all. It's actually like a thing that you can reach for without even moving. And that's when I realized that I wasn't actually giving up on UX. I had it a little bit backwards, because reducing the distance between the person and the thing is actually, it is UX, and probably the best part of it. Okay, now I want to cover why now, why we decide to go all in on those Slack agents right now. And for me, it really comes down to two things. And the first one is probably the biggest one, is that models just got really, really good at it. You can now trust models to go for like an hour and do the thing, go call tools, go spawn a ton of sub-agents and gather necessary context to complete the task. And that wasn't true even a year and a half ago. And now it just works. It's just foundation of everything. And the second is that the tooling caught up to models, because building any one of those features separately used to be like a real project for you to build. If you need to connect your agent to the Slack, it was like the whole headache. And now with all those modern frameworks, it's just a matter of a few minutes of work for you to set up everything. And so building an agent right now is not the hardest part. The hardest part right now is actually finding the issues and things that the agent can solve. Now I want to show you how you can actually build an agent like this and call it directly from Slack. And we're going to use Mastra for this, and Mastra is a TypeScript AI framework for building AI agents, workflows, and everything that you could possibly think of related to building AI applications. And I've been using Mastra for like 8 months now, and almost all of my production applications are powered by Mastra, you can say. And thanks Mastra for sponsoring this video. Now I want to show you how you can actually build this agent. I'm not going to go too deep into setup of the agent, but I'm going to show you like key steps that you need to do. First, we need to initialize Mastra project. Once we did that, we need to connect our agent to Slack and add a channel parameter to our agent. And let me show you the steps that we need to do in Slack for it to work. First, we need to go to api.slack.com/apps and click create new app. And if you want to skip most of those steps, you can easily create a file called slack manifest.yaml and write all those parameters here in the file. And thanks to agent, you don't actually need to write anything. You can just ask an agent to write this file for you and then just upload it there. And you would need to change some of the URLs there, but most of the permissions and all the annoying stuff that you need to set up are going to be already there. Select from scratch, give the app a name, choose your Slack workspace, then click create app. Next, open app home. This controls how the bot appears inside Slack. Under show tabs, enable the message tab, and most importantly, enable allow users to send /commands and messages from messages tab. Without this option, Slack just displays it as a bot, but message input is disabled and users cannot send messages. Now we need to set up bot permissions. So we go to auth and permissions, scroll down to bot token scopes. These permissions determine what bot can actually read and what our agent can actually do. I set up all the basic ones like app mentions, channel history, channel read, channel write, IAM history, IAM read, IAM write, user read. The other cool thing that you can do is you can go to agent tab and here enable agent experience. And what it does is going to like show all the interesting things that only applies to agents, like message for thinking and things like that, like small things inside of the chat as well. And you can also add like suggested prompts for your agent. Once it's done, let's go back to OAuth and permissions, scroll up to install workspace. So review the permissions and approve the installation. Slack now gives us a bot user OAuth token, beginning with this. And this is our Slack bot token that we're going to use. And you can treat it like a password. And I'm going to copy it without showing the complete value on screen. Next, what we need to do is open basic information and find here app credentials. Next, we need to click show next to signing secret and copy it. And this becomes our Slack signing secret. And this secret does not give the bot permissions to post messages. It allows our server to verify that incoming webhook requests really came from Slack. And you don't need to copy any other values like client secret, app ID, verification token. We only need this signing secret. Now we need to set it. Now we need to set those variables as env in our project, deploy it, and I deployed it to Railway just because of the simplicity, and I didn't really deploy it myself. I just asked an agent just go ahead and deploy it to my Railway account, and I just did. But you can deploy it anywhere you want, because just Mastra is just HONA server under the hood, so you can deploy it anywhere. You're not tied to any of the providers. Next, what we need to do is to go back to our Slack, open event subscriptions, and here enable events. Because Slack needs the public webhook endpoint that Mastra created for this agent. Back in Slack, we need to open event subscriptions and then enable events. Slack needs the public webhook endpoint that Mastra created for this agent. Here's what the webhook format looks like. And this agent ID in the URL must exactly match the ID in our Mastra agent configuration. Then we set this URL. Slack sends a signed challenge request to this endpoint. Mastra verifies the signature using Slack signed secret and returns the challenge. And once Slack displays verified, then the connection is working. That's pretty much it. Now we need to go to subscribe to bot events. Now we choose which events Slack should send to Mastra. App mentioned is triggered when somebody mentions the bot in a chat. Message.im handles direct messages. Message.channels receives messages from public channels where the bot is present. Then we just need to click Save Changes. And sometimes Slack can ask to reinstall the app after changing permissions. So you will return to OAuth and permissions and click Reinstall to Workspace. That's pretty much it. Next, what we need to do is open interactivity and shortcuts, enable interactivity, and use the exact Mastra webhook URL here. And interactivity is just what allows Slack buttons to send the action back to Mastra. And we'll need that for like approve and deny buttons, so for the human in the loop. And that's pretty much it. Our agent is now live in our Slack. Now I want to show you the code. So here is our Mastra instance where we're defining our agent, the storage, and you will notice that based on the env parameter, we're deciding which storage we want to use, whether it's Postgres or it's SQLite. Then here in the server, I'm just defining the simple auth, just to make sure that our application is not accessible to anyone and that you need to have this beer token that I'm specifying here. Next, if we go into our agent, Slack agent, go here. Here we're just specifying the instructions, the name of the agent. And here inside of the parameters, here we're specifying memory, and here we're specifying memory as well. And memory, the way that memory works in Slack is that when you tag the bot, it starts a new thread, right, in Slack. And every time you write in the thread, you can think about it as a conversation in ChatGPT where you have your conversation, but in Slack it works through threads. And here we're specifying our sub-agent, and the way that it works is that our main agent calls the sub-agent to research different angles of the topic that we're trying to like cover. And inside of the sub-agent, it's just a call to a model that has ability to search. In my case, I just specified Perplexity Sonar just for the search purposes. It just searches information on the web and gives a summary to our main agent. And we have a few tools. We have a tool for creating a Notion idea, which is just creating a Notion page in my Notion database. And here I also added a few tools to like gather information from different Slack channels. So the way that it works, if I go to Slack, let's say, and here inside of the social, I have some team update. And if I add this guy Scout here and ask it, can you please give me an update from the social channel? That's in Russian. That's not what I need. Can you give me an update from the social channel? I was going to do, it is going to start thinking, and it replied. So it's found 3 channels. It read 4 messages. It read 4 messages. And now you can see that from social, here we have our team update. And here we have our update from this channel. Inside of this tool, we're just fetching all the necessary information from Slack. And because we have all the necessary environment variables set up already, we can just use them to fetch all the necessary information from Slack. So the workflow usually looks like this, that we first need to list and see all the channels that we have in our server. Then we need to, based on those channels, so you can see that we have the fetch Slack messages. It requires the channel ID and the limit how many messages do we want to fetch. Fetch the conversation history and return those messages back to our main model. And of course we can optimize that, and we can create another sub-agent that is going to research Slack for us and give us the whole report about the Slack back to our main agent, and we can optimize it more and more. But just for the sake of demo, and I was just playing around with it, it's enough. And here we have channels, and this is exactly how you connect Slack to your agent, or agent to your Slack. We need to specify here adapter, which we're just importing from chat adapter. And after that, it's going to read from those Slack signing secret and Slack bot token. And that's pretty much it. Here I also specified a few things like streaming true, just for the streaming, and tool display. So it's just a way for you to update the way all the messages going to look like, because by default all those tool calls look just like, maybe I can find somewhere here. Yeah, they look like this, so it's just JSON, but you can customize the way those tools look as well. So I decided to customize them, and here we have like research complete. They just look better, of course, but you have an ability to customize that as well here based on different events. And again, you can just ask AI to do it, and it does it really well. And the same goes for typing statuses. And here in this demo, I just did maybe 1/10 of what we can do with this agent. I haven't added any guidelines to our agent with RAG. I haven't added workspaces, but I can easily add workspaces so that this agent writes file, creates files, reads files, and it has its own environment where it works. Again, I think it's a simple demo, but I'm definitely going to use that agent more and more and going to improve it, because that's something that I need. But I think this demo demonstrates the mindset shift that you need to have with all those tool streaming, tool display, adapters and things like that. Going into this, I didn't really think that I'm going to like this idea of communicating with agent from Slack, but now actually as I'm building it and as I'm playing with it, it actually makes sense, because you spend a lot of time in Slack and you don't need to go anywhere, it's just there. So for a lot of PMs and other non-technical people, you can say, this is actually it makes sense. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave all the links in the description. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.